Hey, this video is gonna just get a little bit into reincarnation and subjective states, particularly states of deep relaxation and meditative states per se. Um, I guess to start off, a meditative state, to define it, is usually a very relaxed state where the participant is active in some kind of introspection or awareness of other things around them, or some kind of mental focal point which they try to focus on, whether it's focusing on the spot, their nasal cavity, or the center of their what's it called again? The solar plexus, the center of their body. That's another way to focus, bring your mind to the breath. These sort of things, which are common in Zen Buddhism and many other forms of Buddhism as well. And these states of consciousness, which are correlative to particular brain waves, alpha, beta, theta, delta, are observable, and we don't quite understand the relationship between them and how we're able to induce particular states, often some of which are only available during deep sleep or deep dreamless sleep or deep sleep, dreaming. So a lot of interesting things come up when we're in these deep meditative states, but often enough we are usually very present with ourselves during these states. They may induce particular visions or hallucinations. However, often at least in the practice of Zen, and in the book The Three Pillars of Zen, for instance, there are many references to odd visions and things happening to participants, but their Roshi, which is basically their I guess you can call them a meditation coach, tells them, don't pay attention to anything that you see or feel or experience. Just keep your mind on the breath. Just continue to focus on whatever we had you focusing on before. So there's a particular consistency and an awareness that weird stuff might come up. Now, on one hand, we can interpret some of these weird things as real, such as, past life visions and such. And on the other hand, we could say these are just hallucinatory, transient hallucinations, which Zen has both said. Now, it is a very belief in reincarnation is a very subjective experience. And as it's mentioned in a previous video we've been talking about, this experience may be due to a particular inhibition towards wanting to believe in it, towards, for instance, I think it was mentioned that during a hypnotic state, such as past life regression, we're very susceptible to a particular belief. If we talk about reincarnation, and we say we believe it, and then we go through a regression, 9 out of, I mean, for often enough, we will experience that. We will experience a past life in the hypnosis. But if we don't believe in it, we tend not to experience a past life in hypnosis. So that's very interesting, but I would really like to make the distinction that meditation, though it is a relaxed state, is definitely not a hypnotic state. Maybe there are particular brainwaves that are present during a hypnotic state, but meditation has many different forms, and not all of them are hypnotic in nature. A lot of them are very present, and this is interesting in and of itself. Besides that, I don't really think, even though I hear there's a lot of interesting evidence for reincarnation. I wouldn't necessarily be pushing to say that it's set in stone, or that it's at least empirically observable or obvious. But I really don't think that's necessarily as important. What's more interesting, perhaps, is a lot of the things that meditation, a lot of the things that we're learning about meditation. For instance, the nature of the particular brainwaves that are induced according to the different states that we practice. For instance, Vipassana meditation or compassion meditation has a different reaction than, at least correlative reaction with brainwaves, than deep no-mind meditation. They're more mentally active forms of contemplation that induce more thought, and those brainwaves go off. And then there are less ones that seem to make the person appear to be either a vegetable or in a coma, and yet they are able to snap out of it and be present and be aware. There's a strange witnessing state, for instance, that experienced practitioners have during after a long period of meditation. Very experienced meditators tend to have this witnessing awareness or mindfulness that follows them throughout the day, into sleep, through sleep, into the next day, for years and years. So that is a very interesting byproduct of long-term meditation. What that is, or whether or not we can really understand it right now, it's not in any kind of empirical way, per se. We're still learning so much about brain science and what the observer is. So all of this really is not necessarily able to be reduced to or explained entirely in physical means, but that doesn't necessarily mean it won't be eventually. But at the same time, when we understand meditation, when we understand consciousness, well, first, when we begin to understand consciousness much more deeply, we'll be able to look back at meditation and sort of understand it in that new light as well. But, and now this is just an intuition, but I do feel that when we do understand consciousness more deeply and much more completely, it will be a different story than it is now. And what we consider to be, I guess you could say, this clump of flesh, whether or not it generates consciousness, whether or not it taps into some kind of quantum, some kind of other quantum aspect to reality where consciousness arises, those are very interesting questions, and I feel the new science will have to not only explore them, but also answer them. So on that note, I think I'm going to end this video, and yeah, it kind of was going all over the place, but yeah, there are some interesting things to talk about with this, and yeah, replies are welcome, and comments are also welcome. Thanks for listening.